Hi everyone, welcome to Ash and M Animal Adventures. Today, I am going to do a more complete guide to caring to the White's tree frog. So I hope you enjoy. So this is my bioactive terrarium for my White's tree frog. Her name is Wednesday, and she is in the back here. I'll get you a more close-up view of her. She's right over there. You can see her hanging out. So, let's start with temperature. So, for the daytime and nighttime, the temperature needs to be slightly different. Obviously, the temperature drops a little at night, which is natural for frogs. So, the daytime temperature should be between 75 and 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which I've got hers. The little temperature gauge is at 77 right now. I have the little temperature reader in the back there. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's this cord right here. So it's at 77, which is perfect for daytime. At night, you can let it drop between 68 and 76 degrees Fahrenheit. So usually this drops, mine's usually about 73 at nighttime, which is perfect, of course. So I use a UV light, just a low UV light. That is mostly because it's good for the frogs, first of all, and it's also good for the plants. It helps the plants in here grow. They're all live plants since this is a bioactive setup. And also for frogs, as you can see, I use spring water, as I've mentioned in previous videos, that I just buy at the store. And I have several water dishes in here. I have this little shell here. I have a little bathing, a little tub in the back. I have this shell, which isn't full right now. It all evaporated. And I have this leaf up here she likes to bathe in. It's not full again. It evaporated because it got a little warm in here. So they all need low water dishes where they can soak in, because they really enjoy doing that. It's got to be sort of big but low enough where they can still get out. And as I said, use spring water. I also mist her with, as I've shown, the Mister Lizard. This comes in real handy. I mist her once to twice a day depending on the humidity. So the humidity for these guys should be 30 to 50% humidity. It's a little bit high right now. I think I over misted her by accident this morning. So it's a bit high right now. For baby frogs, the humidity should be higher though. It should be 50 to 60% for frogs under 1 year old. So she's under a year old, so it should be a little bit high. So I always monitor the temperature with a digital thermometer. I've also got that little thermometer in the back right there. It's got some gunk on it, but I use that just as a second reference. For food. Now food is a little bit controversial for these guys, for White's tree frogs. So generally I feed her crickets every 1 to 2 days. They shouldn't be fed every day, as obesity is a common problem for these frogs. So I generally tend to give her a good amount of crickets every 1 to 2 days. And for her health, I use this Reptivite. Every couple of days I dust them with Reptivite. This is really good for them. And if you get a frog, you need to use this, because otherwise they might get deficiencies. and not be healthy frogs. So definitely use that. So I generally use crickets because they're really easy to find at a pet store, at any pet store, like seriously. I usually use crickets, but you can also feed them roaches, silkworms, I guess locusts. So those are some other options, or there's some okay foods like butterworms, isopods, which you've seen us catch in videos. There's some isopods crawling around in there. Probably not gonna get a good view of them, but isopods, hornworms. I have tried feeding her hornworms, and they are too big, and she won't go for them, so I kind of gave up on the hornworms. She just didn't like them. You can feed them moths. It's generally not recommended you feed them superworms just because they bite. I have heard if you just like take the head off or crush the head on superworms, they're like, you can give them, but just as treats. Superworms and mealworms do not contain a lot of nutrition for these guys. So between the two, I would say feed them mealworms because they don't really bite as much if you're gonna go that route. And just as a snack every once in a great while, I feed her mealworms every once in a while just as a treat, a little treat for my frog, but it's not really recommended. Now, some people also feed these guys pinky mice or live rodents. Do not do that. Please don't do that. That is not really good for your frog, and to be frank, it's just gross. In my opinion, it's just nasty. So, yeah, that's my take on food. Any other food like shrimp or fish or whatever the heck else, just don't. I would say crickets, roaches, hornworms, you know, go that route. They're easy to get at a pet store, easy to feed. Oh yeah, I didn't show you how I fill her water dishes. I've shown you guys before. I use this. I used to have a little drawing from my brother, but I just do that. Spring water. Oh, I can show you the water I got too. Hold on. So I use just spring water. You just get that at the store. It's so convenient and cheap. Like, don't use tap water because it's got all those chemicals and whatever, and it's not good for your frog, but you can just buy those at the store. Or they have drops you can buy at the pet store that'll make tap water healthy for your frog, but I just find it more convenient to buy jugs of water. Just my take on it. So, anyways, back to the care guide. So the size of the tank, for one frog, it's recommended, like, the smallest, like the itty bittiest is her enclosure, because I don't have a lot of space. That is a 10-gallon tank. Actually, I think it's 11 gallons, but same thing. So it's like the smallest you can get for one frog. She's also kind of a baby frog, so it is a good size for her. It's recommended that you get 20 gallons for one frog for an adult frog. Adult frogs get big. These guys get big, so if you want a big chonky frog, yeah, I would recommend these guys. They're super chill, super nice. They get about 4 inches, which is like about as big as my fist. I don't know if that's a good size comparison for you guys, but it's about as big as my fist. And they live About, let's see, they live about 16 years in captivity. 16 years. So, that's for one frog. 2 frogs, 30 gallons. 3 frogs, 40 gallons. And it keeps going up, obviously. If you eat 9 frogs, it's recommended 100-gallon tank. 100 gallons! 9 frogs! Oh my gosh. I couldn't even imagine taking care of 9 frogs right now. I mean, I'm just a first-time frog owner, but 9 frogs would be a lot. A lot. She is pretty dang cute, though, in her corner, sitting there sleepy. Like I said, they sleep during the day, and they'll be active, hopping around, and you feed them at night, and they'll be just hopping around having a grand old time. So, you don't handle these guys. They're like having a fish tank. So you just kind of watch them in there, enjoy watching them, have a peaceful little terrarium with plants and stuff. It's very relaxing to watch them. It's very nice. So, yeah, this is actually an easier alternative, in my opinion, to a fish tank. I have had fish tanks before, and oh my god, they are so much work cleaning the filter and stuff, but since this is a bioactive terrarium with the bio balls and the bioactive soil and leaves and fully grown plants, and it's got some stuff to climb in. But since this is a bioactive terrarium, I don't really have to clean it, which is so convenient. Like, so convenient. You just kind of spot clean the windows. This is a window. Well, the door or whatever. You just spot clean the doors, and, you know, it's so easy. So if you want something other than an aquarium, I would recommend getting a bioactive terrarium, which is easy to make, with a frog. It's just the best. And if you do handle these guys, obviously wear gloves, because you don't want anything from your hands getting on them, because their skin is sensitive. As I've said, their skin just absorbs pretty much anything they touch. So, wear gloves. Let's see, did I go over everything? I think I went over most things. I know I'm talking really fast. But, oh, I wouldn't recommend using like a heat pad under there, just because it's more natural to have like a light. See, I have one UV light for the plants and for her health, and then I have a heat bulb actually on the other side, just because it's spring still and it gets chilly in here, so I want her temperature to be perfect. In the summer when it gets hot, I'll probably take that out because the temperature will probably be good. I monitor it. Oh, my thermometer's going whack. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit lower since I opened it. But, yeah, I keep a heat bulb and the UV light. This is sort of all my preference. I'll probably upgrade her to a bigger terrarium once I get my own place, and once she is fully grown, since amazingly enough, even though she's so chunky and adorable, she's a baby still. So, yeah. They should have 12 hours of light on, 12 hours of light off, UV light obviously, and that's pretty much it for caring for a White's tree frog. They're pretty easy, even though I went over a lot of information. Some people get really picky with them. You'll see on the internet people saying like, oh, do not do this, or absolutely do that, and they have big arguments on different care and whatever, but if your frog is happy, if your frog is living a very good life, if you've got all their needs, then you're doing a great job. So I would recommend getting a frog. This isn't an advertising commercial for a frog, I promise, but just a care guide, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Hi everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed my care guide to a White's tree frog. Sorry if I droned on a bit, but I hope you guys definitely enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from it. I know I updated some of the stuff from last care guide, the last one I did. That's because I'm learning every day. As I've said, I'm a new frog owner, but most of the stuff I said on here should be pretty accurate. I've done a lot of research since then. And overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and like and subscribe for more. Thank you.